Hey, it's Stakey, and I was thinking with the Hawks and Chris Paul getting together, and Chris Paul having met him 2 or 3 times, maybe one of the most likable athletes that I've ever been around. Chris Paul, not only a great player, great guy off the court, everything you could ask for in terms of a guy that you root for. So I was thinking about it, and thinking about 14 years covering sports here in Atlanta. Who is my top 5 list of 5 most rootable guys? 5 guys that day in and day out were some of the most rootable guys that I've ever rooted for. So let's go down the list right here. We'll start with top with Mark Richt. Been around him a long time. A guy that walks the walk and talks the talk. Not driven by ego, driven by taking care of his fan base, taking care of his players, and one of the truly great people I've ever been around. Who else is on my list last 14 years? Bobby Cremins, one of the all-time greatest guys ever, former head coach of Georgia Tech basketball. You'll never meet anybody on the planet that doesn't say that Bobby Cremins is one of the unique, caring, great guys of all time. Let's turn our attention to the Falcons. Kind of a dual number for my number 3, Bobby Hebert and Jesse Tucker. They played together, one guy on the defensive side, one guy on the offensive side of the football. Been around these guys a bunch. 2 of the most rootable Falcons of all time. One guy in town right now, Brian McCann, he is the epitome. 3-time All-Star, local kid, and as humble and as real as anybody you've ever been around in sports. I'll put him on my list as number 4. And number 5, we'll do a 1-2 punch. Georgia Tech football, covered both these guys. As rootable as it gets, George Godsey and Joe Hamilton. Joe Hamilton followed by George Godsey after that. Here are 2 guys that absolutely maximized their talent. Here are 2 guys that absolutely won games. And here are 2 guys that couldn't have been better guys to root for. So that is my top 5 list of the most rootable guys that I've ever been around in Atlanta, Georgia.